Good evening, Africa. Once again, I just want to hope that everyone else who is watching this video is doing okay and great in the mother continent, Africa, our beloved Africa. Today, I just have 3 words that I want to share with you, everyone that is watching, that we need to practice. Once we try and do that in our lives, we shall see that we'll be able to achieve our goals, to achieve our personal and organizational goals, aiming prosperity in our lives. It has become well known that most Zimbabweans, most Africans are very poor in this day. Not because it's by nature, but sometimes we choose to be poor. Why? Because we don't want to change. We don't want to learn. We don't want even to listen to the things that might be helpful in our future. Concerning the business, either starting a business, maintaining a business, or making sure that you fund a certain business, you start something of your own. 3 words that I have today. We need to start, we need to learn to start something on this earth on your own. After starting, we need to try. We need to try to be trying new things on earth. We need to be trying new things that are business related. We need also to retry. We need to learn to retry in our daily life. Most of the Zimbabweans and the Africans that are proclaimed to be poor somehow, they are poor, we are poor because we don't want to start doing anything. We are afraid of the unknown factors. Some of them, they call them these major factors. Yes, they are there, but we need to face them as and when they come. So what am I saying today? We need to start something. What is it that you are thinking of starting? Have you ever tried to gather around information concerning whatever that you want to start? You'll find that most of the people, they are very afraid. They have what we call fear of the unknown, fear of the uncertainty that we always face in Zimbabwe and in Africa. But guys, for us to prosper in whatever we do and whatever we try to do in our lives, we need to start something of our own. We need to start something that we are proud of. You need to show your pride in whatever talent that you were given by the Creator, which is God. I know we are talented in different ways, in whichever way. Each and every one of us in Africa has got their own way of thinking. You've ever tried to come up with a certain model of a car? You've ever tried to come up with a certain name of your company, even if you don't have any asset to start your business? You've ever tried to borrow money from the banks to start a business? No. Why? Because one of your relatives or one of your grandmother in rural areas, some of us, we come from rural areas, they always say, if you borrow money and start a business, obvious you're going to be broke. Once you become broke, how are you going to be paying back the loans? Then it ends just like that. Have you ever tried to start? Once you start, if you try one time and then you don't get joy from the business, maybe because of the economic conditions that are bad, especially in Zimbabwe, have you ever retried? Guys, it saddens me to hear that most of the Zimbabweans and 95% of each and every Zimbabwean or an African, they spend 90% of their time doing useless things, doing unproductive things, attending to unproductive meetings and gatherings. Imagine you are a group of friends, you are trying to come up with a business. You have the minds, you have the ideas. However, one of you is afraid just of the unknown factors. You've ever tried pumping in money so that you can start a business? If you tried, how many times have you tried? Have you ever retried? At least they've started something, because today we want to learn about starting, trying, and retrying things. If you tried pumping in money or putting what we call capital to start the business as a group or as an individual, you started something, then it didn't flourish on the market. The business environment was not that lucrative, and you thought of dropping out of business. Have you ever tried to retry in launching another product, in starting another business, or you just said this is the end of the story? Some of the philosophers always say procrastination is an excuse of a lazy man. Someone who doesn't want to work, guys, will tell you a lot of things, will try and go to town about making something, just like a whole sentence. I'm going to try something. I'm going to start something. When you procrastinate, you must know that you are the definition of a lazy person. So, we are poor in Zimbabwe. We are poor in Africa, not because we don't have resources, not because we don't have money, but because we are lazy. Lazy in terms of thinking, lazy in terms of executing, lazy in terms of just copying the ideas. As well, we procrastinate things to such an extent that at the end of the day, you just tell yourself, I'm going nowhere. When people go to school, they want to get knowledge, they want to acquire knowledge. After acquiring knowledge, we are now waiting and sitting, waiting for someone to think of starting a certain business so that they may call us for interviews. Then start to fire us with the questions. After responding to the questions, that's when you think of starting your own business. However, it will end there. Have you ever tried to start something? Have you ever tried to retry when you start something and it goes down? When you start a business and you become broke after 5 months? Have you ever tried to retry? Guys, we're talking about starting something. After starting, you need to try and diversify. After trying and it fails, you need to retry. How many of your daughters are getting married at an early stage? How many child marriages are there and being recorded on daily basis, monthly or weekly basis or yearly in Zimbabwe? Is it because people don't want to grow old? They do want, but we are having a high level of child marriage not because people don't have somewhere to go or do not have something to do, but because of the negligence, one of the parents, and the second one is girls. Have you ever tried fashion and fabrics? If you tried, how many times you tried and how many times you failed to execute and come up with the one design of a dress or a short? If you tried to such an extent, have you ever tried to sell it, and how many people have you engaged in trying to market your products? If you didn't do, then you are very lazy. You want your husband to get employed by someone else who started their business after thinking a lot and invested in making some money. Then that same person is going to call your husband or a boy that you think is your future husband. After you fail to plan for yourself, after you fail to plan for your future as a lady, as a young daughter, a young girl of someone, then you decide to go and get married. Try again. If at first you don't succeed. Most of the Africans do not do business, do not own the cars, do not own houses, do not have even bicycles, not because we can't own them, but because we are very lazy in terms of thinking. After we fail to think, we fail to start. After starting, we are afraid of facing the risks. We are afraid of the uncertainties. We are afraid of the unknown future. We are afraid of these major factors. But, guys, we must learn to cross the bridge when we get to it. So what's the point to take home? Start something. Try new ways. Retry if you start and fail in the first place. Try again. If at first you don't succeed, we'll get there. Starting, trying, and retrying is the way to go.